Hello. It is Sunday today, and normally on Sundays, I clean. Like, I clean my room, and I have been neglecting that routine for at least the last 2 weeks. So my room is a mess, and we're gonna clean today. But I thought while I clean, I think I'm just gonna record myself doing it so that I stay on task, and also so I can talk about stuff. So first, I'm gonna clip my hair out of the way because my, curtain bangs get really greasy, and I just washed my hair yesterday, and it gets so annoying how quickly they get greasy because of my forehead. So I just like to clip them out of the way 90% of the time. I'm gonna start by cleaning my desk because I have been ordering photo cards and doing trades, and everything is just a mess. You know what I've been thinking about lately is that I absolutely love sserafim's concept. Like, I've been talking about this with everybody that I can, but I feel like I just need to make a video to really get into it. The first thing that I love about them, I think they're becoming like my old girl group. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Twice, and I will always have love and respect for Twice, but when it comes to what group I am more involved in terms of content and fandom, who I engage with most, it's probably sserafim now. But Twice will always be that group. They're one of the biggest girl groups for a reason. We'll love them forever. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I really like their concept a lot, and I think that they represent a potential shift in the K-pop industry. And I don't think sserafim is the only group that's doing this, but they are probably one of the best examples of it. But I just think that girl groups in the future are going to be marketed for girls. Because you know how, in the K-pop industry, well, I think, cultures in general are just very heteronormative. Most, if not all cultures, they're very heteronormative, especially in, the K-pop industry, where you kind of sell intimacy to a degree. I'm not saying that they're doing anything provocative or selling anything that's not kid friendly, but they are selling this sense of intimacy. For example, in older groups, a lot of them will be boy groups singing about a girl or singing to a girl, and then girl groups singing about a man. For example, in Cheer Up by Twice, there's literally a part that goes, "Gotta see you love me like a real man, real man," and BTS with War of Hormone, or just any of their older songs, "Yes, You're My Only Girl." A lot of groups just back then were very much boy groups sing about girls, girl groups sing about boys. And I think that that is partially the reason why boy groups tend to sell better and tend to just be more commercially successful. I don't know if that's the right term, but because women are the main people who women are the main consumers of things. Yes, men will watch things, men will listen to the music, but they're not the ones who are buying albums. If you look at who the group order managers are, or who the people who are at concerts are, who the people that do events or attend events are, it's usually mostly women or femme people. And I think that everybody realizes that. Even someone like me who has taken marketing classes, because I have a marketing degree, as women are the main purchasers, the boy groups tend to do better because they market towards women. They sing about women. The merch that they have, it's catered towards women, because in a heteronormative society, they have the boy groups promote to women, but girl groups generally, typically, used to promote to men. So what I like about sserafim is that sserafim, in my opinion, doesn't do that. I think sserafim is a girl group that promotes to women. The thing that I absolutely love about sserafim is that the way that their whole concept is about being fearless, right? Because sserafim, even the name is an anagram of I'm fearless, and their whole thing is very high fashion vibes, you know? I feel their posters and concepts, they always have something to do with being very chic and like kind of like runway-esque, if that makes sense. And I think that their whole thing is just about resilience, right? Like, even if you look at their documentary, they talk about like Sakura wanting to go back into the idol industry after being experienced for so long. Kazuha leaving behind her ballet career. Yunjin coming from the States and leaving everything behind there. Taewon coming from IZ*ONE. I mean, Sakura came from IZ*ONE too, but you get the point. Like, I feel like a lot of their concept is just about resilience. That's why they have songs like Fearless and Anti-Fragile. And I just think that their concept is really big on women empowerment and like women, female, like confidence. Their message is very clearly not for straight men who simply find them attractive and only consume because they like looking at pretty women, right? Like, I think that their message is for everybody, honestly, but because like they are like a girl group, like I feel like they want to have other women who relate to them to be confident. And I think that they exude the confidence that a lot of women wish that they could have. And that's why they don't have any songs about men or relationships. And granted, I guess maybe sour grapes. Let me look up the translation of sour grapes actually, because I don't want to say something and I'm not right, you know. But I think just like their title tracks and how they perform, like the Hydra at the MMAs, I feel like they just don't market primarily to men. And that's not to say that men can't stand the Seraphim or enjoy their music. Like, I know a lot of male fear knots who just really like vibing with them. But I've noticed that their whole thing isn't like fan service for men. So like when you think about what I said before about how women are the main consumers and the ones who like buy albums and actually spend money on things, like I think it makes sense that LE SSERAFIM is marketing mostly to women, like with a different message than girl groups have done in the past. And I think it's really nice. I really like that a girl group is marketing towards women. I like that a girl group is very clearly for the girls, you know? And I don't think boy groups would ever do the same because, like I said, men don't really buy things at the same rate that women do. Which, like, I think that's another thing to get into. I would like to know why women buy things more. Why women are known to be the ones who actually spend money on the things that they like. It's very interesting. I feel like there's, like, some historical context behind that, but I'm not gonna get into it. Another thing is, like, I remember a couple years ago when I was getting into Twice, my friend, who was a really big once, he was telling me that, like, he loves Twice. Like, Twice is probably his alt group. Like, not even alt girl group. Like, it's probably his alt group. And he was telling me that, like, he really likes Twice now. Like, their newer concepts. And I was looking on Reddit because I was really curious about this. And a lot of men did not like Twice's mature concept shift, you know? They liked the older Twice with like the cute younger women. See, some of it is like kind of weird when you say it out loud, but like they liked Twice's cuter concepts. And I remember reading through that Reddit subreddit, I don't know the terminology, but I remember reading through that and people were asking like why do men not like Twice's newer concepts now? And a lot of them were literally just not about the whole female empowerment thing, which like part of me understands because it's like it's not for you, right? Like female empowerment is for other females, like other women. So I get that part of it is like that's partially why it wouldn't appeal to you, but it also is like, oh, like I just liked when they were pretty and made music for me kind of thing. But yeah, so I think Twice has also shifted greatly, and that's not to say that I didn't like their older stuff. Like it's all bops from Twice, like don't get me wrong, but just like conceptually, like there was a shift, I think, and I think that shift has worked in their favor because like I've been saying, women are the ones who have the purchasing power. But yeah, it's just very interesting to me. And I think that with Twice being an example, I think Blackpink does show this to an extent, and I do think Le Sserafim is really good at it now, because Le Sserafim, like, from the start, it's just like nothing about men, you know? So I think that this represents a shift. Like, I think Le Sserafim has been doing really well, right? Like, they're not even a year old. They debuted, 7 months ago? And I think they're doing very well. Like, I see that they have interviews in the West, like with BuzzFeed and all these radio shows in America. And also, like, they're probably pretty big in Japan because of Sakura, right? I just think that they represent a shift in the K-pop industry from a marketing standpoint. I think that more groups, especially girl groups, are going to market towards women. And I'm sure that there's other groups who are doing the same. I'm not saying that Le Sserafim is the only group doing this, but I think that groups that are doing commercially... I can't talk. I think the groups that are doing very well commercially and, like, in terms of sales are the groups that appeal to the women more. I also think that that's why groups usually do really well. Like, boy groups, I think that's why boy groups do really well when they shift to a brighter concept versus the typical dark kind of, like, the more darker boy group concepts. Like, I remember people talking about BTS shifting from kind of like the dark harness era to like the bright colorful era with Boy With Love, and that's when the fandom grew significantly, right? Like with the collab with Halsey. And I think that a lot of women really like that bubbly bright concept. Also with TXT blowing up during Blue Hour. It's a very colorful concept. I'm not saying that TXT didn't have colorful concepts before, but like the whole vibe of Blue Hour is just very blue, pink, pastel, like cotton candy clouds and like merry-go-rounds, and the whole 8-bit theme. Like, I feel like it was just very cute, and I feel like it appealed to a lot of women, and that's partially why they blew up so much. And why, when they went into the emo concept, I've noticed a lot of people are not as into it. Like, a lot of people who came for Blue Hour expected it to stay that way, but with TXT, they're obviously, like, very diverse in concept, and they like to change it up a lot, but a lot of people have been wanting a bright era from them again, and I've noticed that those type of concepts are very popular among women because, like I've said, women buy things. I have so many cup sleeve freebies from the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna sort through them now. Also, I'm not gonna deny that a lot of girl groups don't do as well as boy groups. It's also because of, like, misogyny. I won't lie, of course, there's always gonna be misogyny to it, but I think a big part of it is just, like, we live in a heteronormative society. A lot of women like men. And as a result of that, a lot of these male groups will market for women. You know what's another thing I've noticed is that groups nowadays, when they sing songs that are very clearly love songs, a lot of them won't include pronouns or make them gender specific in any capacity. A lot of them will be like, oh, we're singing to our fans. And I think that's another good way of, like, not marketing directly towards men, but also not isolating them, because obviously, like, there are men who do purchase things. It's just that, like, proportionately, like, it's probably more women. But, like, if you keep it ambiguous or not gender specific, then you don't have the risk of isolating anyone. And of course, like, fans now, they'll sing songs that are literally about, like, love and, like, romance and be like, oh, it's just about how, like, we want to be with our fans. And I'm like, okay. By the way, guys, should I stan P1 Harmony? Because I've been, like, it's been a slow burn for at least the last year, if not a little bit longer. But, like, I finally have my first P1 Harmony album, if you remember from my vlog the other week. And it's just, like, I really like them. But also, I don't want to stan just yet, because I don't know if I can afford to go to that tour, or if I have the mental capacity to, because I just can't do GA. Like, it gives me anxiety, and also it's kind of expensive. and I'm short. So yeah, I mean, I still want to get into them, but like, should I just wait after tour to like fully deep dive so I don't get FOMO? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I have so many business cards from the cup sleeve events I go to. Do you want to see? Okay, hold on. I'll show you guys. These are the ones that I got from the most recent cup sleeve. And I think this was from like the week before. But is this also a sticker? This looks like a sticker. Anyway, I have this big box. And Essence sent it to me when they sent me their foundation line. But it's just really nice. And I took out the inside part that like holds all the foundations. And I just use it to hold all of like my K-pop freebies. So, oh my god, hold on. Everything is sorted in like little plastic baggies. So like these are my BTS freebies. There's so many. Yeah, all my BTS freebies are in here. These are from concerts or trades or cup sleeves. Like literally, they just all go in here. And then these are like some scraps. So that's like from the BTS meal. These are like tags that I just thought were cute. And I think some stickers are in here too from albums. But yeah, and then these are TXT official like loose things, and I think there's just a photo strip from a cup sleeve, but these are the TXT like loose things, and I just put them in this bag. These are all reused, by the way. I just you know how when you go to events and you get like little pieces of plastic for like literally everything? I just reuse them to sort my freebies. These are all twice. These are my 17 ones, and then this is full of business cards. I just keep all the business cards, and if I ever am like, oh, I want to look for a gift for somebody, I just go through here and I just look at all my business cards and either check out their Instagram page or Etsy shop or whatever, but I just go through all the business cards here. The state of my desk, still questionable. But I'm moving on because I have been working on it for too long and it's giving me a headache. Also, I had to remove my Chaeyoung and my Jin pickets because they just kept falling off the wall. The 217 ones are a little bit lighter and smaller, so I think I can leave them up. But the Yeonjun one, I'm probably gonna have to take that down too because it's the same. It's built the same way as the Jin one, so it's pretty heavy. That's annoying, but I will probably, I don't know, maybe for the next year, for the new year, 2023, I'll redecorate my room again. But I won't move too many things because I actually like how everything looks for the most part. It's just messy and I need to do something about that. Also, I need to get rid of my old calendar. Yeah, so I guess if you guys want to see a video of me redecorating my room next year, which is in like 2 to 3 weeks, let me know. What I'm actually going to work on is fixing this shelf because it's a mess and I have new albums that I need to make room for. And I am going to have even more new albums because I pre-ordered TXT's set and also an extra signed album. So, yeah. You guys have any predictions for K-pop in 2023? I have a couple. My first one is based off of what I was talking about earlier with sserafim. I think another girl group will debut. I think a lot of girl groups will debut, actually. Even though 2022 was the year of girl groups, in my opinion, I think girl groups have had the craziest debuts and the most successful debuts. I think that 4th gen girl groups are very competitive. Like, you still have ITZY and STAYC, which I love them very much. But you have them, and then you have IVE, which is, like, IVE is doing great. You have LE SSERAFIM, which everybody's talking about LE SSERAFIM too. And you have, let's see, you have, I'm literally blanking. New Jeans, oh my god, how could I forget New Jeans? New Jeans is doing amazing. Just like 4th gen girl groups, NMIXX is doing really well. I know that they just had that whole thing with Jinny leaving, but like, I do think NMIXX is a very talented group, and I think the only hate that NMIXX gets is kind of misguided, or like needs to be redirected, because I feel like people who hate on NMIXX just don't like the concept, but like, they are so talented. Their voices are so good. They can dance. They're all really pretty. Like, I just think NMIXX is really talented. I don't fully stan NMIXX, but like, have some respect, you know? I think one of my biggest predictions, and it's not really like a prediction like, oh, I'm just throwing something out there, but I think this is definitely just going to happen. I think more girl groups will debut in 2022 with kind of a more female oriented concept, kind of like the girl groups that we have now. I think as time progresses, less girl groups will be singing about men. I also think that in 2023 we will have a girl group debut with an openly LGBTQ member, or somebody will come out. I feel like South Korea and like the K-pop industry is kind of overdoing that. Like, I know there's Holland, who's like probably the only openly gay K-pop idol, but I just feel like the idol industry is drastically changing. And I know, like, the one reason I really love Yoonjin from sserafim is like she's so open about these things, and like she made a post about pride. She's talked about like calories and like just eating whatever you want, and like I think that we'll see more of that shift, but I think somebody will actually be out. Like, I just think they will. And I hope that whoever that idol is, that they are protected. Whether it's an idol that has yet to debut or an idol that has already debuted, I hope they're protected. I hope that it doesn't jeopardize their career. I hope that they are very successful. With like soloists versus groups, I think I think there's slightly less pressure for a soloist to come out. Because if you're a soloist, it's just you, you know? And like people, they're fans of only you. But if you're in a group, there's like a whole concept that you have to fit in. There's like other members whose careers you could put at risk, especially like with how homophobic like people can be. It's just like, I understand that it may not be safe for idols to come out. It definitely isn't safe. But I hope that eventually we get to a point where it is safe enough for them to. And who knows, maybe 2023 will be the year. Another prediction I have for 2023 is that somebody's gonna put together a K-pop festival in the West that isn't camp. Like, it's gonna be a K-pop festival from an organization that actually knows how to manage a K-pop group, or like how to manage K-pop groups overall. Like, obviously with camp they had those visa issues, which like I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah. And with TXT and Hobie being the first K-pop group and like Korean act to perform at Lollapalooza, and also like 17 performing at LA3C, all of that happening within the past year, it's very obvious that music festivals are probably going to start using K-pop groups and K-pop idols to have people attend their show. And I think that we're definitely going to see more of that in 2023. I wouldn't be surprised if, since it's already been tried with Camp LA to have like a K-pop festival, I wouldn't be surprised if like a K-pop company, like for example HYBE, organized their own like HYBE family festival, or SM doing an SM festival, or JYP. I could also see JYP doing it, not gonna lie, with JYP himself as the headliner, which I would leave early for, not gonna lie. But I wouldn't be surprised if a K-pop company started going more into festivals, because I feel like, especially with HYBE and all the groups that have debuted under HYBE being super popular, with the rise in popularity of 17, with BTS solo careers, like I think that HYBE would benefit from doing a HYBE family festival. The Game Caterers collab with HYBE was really successful in my opinion. I feel like I haven't met anybody who hasn't watched it. And I feel like a lot of new carrots came from that, a lot of new MOAs, Promise 9 fans, I don't know what they're called, I'm so sorry. But also like a lot of people got into sserafim from that. I just think it would be very beneficial for HYBE to do a festival. The only downside of HYBE doing a festival would be that it probably would only be in one location, and it's like, if you're based in South Korea, why would you do it in LA, you know? Like, maybe it's more likely for them to do it in Korea or to tour, but I feel like the logistics and like the planning that would go into touring with an entire company, like all the groups under that company, I feel like that's just a lot of work, and I don't know if that would be so soon, especially with how recently sserafim and NewJeans debuted. Would I like to see it? Yes. Would I attend? Absolutely. I also think that if they were to have a BTS solo member headline, it would be Hobie. And another reason why I feel like they would do it next year is because like all of BTS is going to enlist soon. You know what I mean? Like in 2023, I'm sure like by the end of 2023, at least half of them will have gone, because we already had Jin in 2022. Yoongi obviously has to go. Hobi and Namjoon are right after. And if they want to be done by 2025, what's 18 months before like mid 2025 is like 2024. I think by the end of 2023, Hobi and Namjoon would probably have enlisted. I don't like thinking about it, but like it is a reality. But like I don't want to think about the enlistment schedule too much. I just want to say that, like, if he has to go before the end of 2023, then I think within 2023, Hobi will have to have, like, done another solo performance. Because I think of all the BTS members, who loves performing the most is probably Hobi. Like, he, in my opinion, is an ace. He's an amazing dancer. He can sing. He can rap. He has good stage presence. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised if they had a HYBE festival and they had Hobi headlining. Mel, one of my mutuals everywhere, they made a video talking about a HYBE family festival, and I agree with Hobi headlining. I also think that in 2023, if there is no HYBE family festival, TXT will definitely tour with bigger venues. I think they've kind of hinted that they were touring again. Same with 17, they definitely hinted that they were touring. Do I think that 17 is gonna do SoFi Stadium like Hoshi said? I mean, it's not impossible, but also like going from arenas to a giant stadium the next year, it's interesting to me. Like, obviously it's gonna happen eventually, so like maybe they could, but also like what if SoFi Stadium is a HYBE family festival, you know? I feel like that would also make sense, especially if Le Sserafim, you know what, but also touring a big festival would not be realistic, because that's a lot of people to be accountable for. But it would make sense, especially if people want to see like Le Sserafim and New Jeans, who are like obviously very much newer. It would make sense. I also am gonna be transparent. I love Le Sserafim. Like, I am a Fear Not, undoubtedly. So a lot of my predictions will probably involve them, because I just really want them to be successful, and I can really see them being successful. I wasn't even like an IZ*ONE stan. Like, I'm not like from that fan base, and I wasn't really a big fan of IZ*ONE's music. Like, obviously there's songs that I like, but their overall sound was just like not for me in terms of like discography deep diving. Do they have like, does that mean that their music's bad? No. But I don't know Chaewon and Sakura from IZ*ONE. I just know them from Le Sserafim. And all I know about IZ*ONE is that Wonyoung was also in it. That's literally all I know. A lot of members, in that they're a survival show group. So, another 2023 prediction is, I think that this is gonna be the year that BTS wins a Grammy. Like, I genuinely think, well, okay, I have my doubts, not because I don't think BTS deserve it, because obviously they've deserved it from the very beginning, but I think that because they are not an active group, as in like as a group, like, I think it's really easy for the Grammys to be like, oh, let's just sweep it under the rug, you know? Because they're nominated with Coldplay, I feel like that's how they'll win their Grammy. And it kind of sucks, because I do think that BTS deserve it, like, just for their songs on their own, like For Yet to Come, and even Butter and Dynamite, like, I honestly think deserve Grammys. But I do think that the white man will help them secure it, which is like, you know what? Allyship. My Universe was just a fun song. It was a great song, and I love My Universe. I still listen to it, and I cry. So yeah. I hope that they win a Grammy for it. Putting away photo cards. These are my Le Sserafim photo cards. I think they're going to have a tour in 2023, Le Sserafim. I think that they're going to do well. I think it's going to be one of those things where they underestimate how big they are. Actually, I don't know, because they are under a different company, Source Music. I don't know how Source Music has done in the past, like what their tours have been like for their other groups. I don't know anything about Source Music other than like they had G-Friend and they partnered with Big Hit or something like that. I forgot that I literally have photo cards all over my table that yeah, anyways, more Le Sserafim cards. Here's Bongyu. Another group this group I don't like fully stan, but I think that they are going to blow up in 2023 is ATEEZ. Also, I'm looking for my DK. Oh, there it is. I need to put my DK photo cards away. But I think ATEEZ is literally going to blow up in 2023 because in 2021 and even this past year, every time they go on tour, people become obsessed with them. And like, I respect it. I have nothing against ATEEZ. I am not like super into the type of music they're known for, like noise music, quote unquote. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, because I know people like noise music, but like that style of music is not for me, respectfully. But they do have songs that aren't considered noise music that I do like and I do listen to, but like the sound that they're known for and the sound that like their title tracks are is not for me. But I do think that they're talented, and every time they go on tour, my timeline blows up. Like, everybody becomes an 18E when they're on tour. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, I know, like, with 17 going on tour for Be The Sun, a lot of people did become carrots. And I do think that's normal with tours. Like, even with Twice, when Twice went on tour earlier this year in February, a lot of people became onces and wanted to go to the encore. But with ATEEZ, every time ATEEZ goes on tour, people ult them. Like, some people will unult their previous ult and switch to ATEEZ, and some people will add ATEEZ to their ults. And I think that in 2023, if ATEEZ tours again, or like even if they just have a really big comeback again, like, they are going to blow the hell up. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I just think that they're going to be really big. I also have another prediction that a BTS member will release a second solo. And I honestly think that it'll be Hobie. Like, I think Hobie loves making music. I feel, well, they all do, obviously. I think Namjoon loves making music. I think Yoongi loves making music. I think all of them genuinely love making music. But I think that before Hobie has to enlist, he is going to release a second solo project. Or I guess it would technically be third, because Hope World is technically the first. But I think he'll release like a second album. It wouldn't surprise me. I also think that if he does release another album, it will be shorter. I don't think it'll have as many songs as Jack in the Box. It'll probably be like an EP or mini comeback kind of thing. But I do think that he will before he goes.